Hello.
Hello, ma'am. I am calling from bank. I have called you to verify your customer ID.
Okay, I'll come to the bank and get it done.
No, ma'am. It's very easy process. We have digitalized everything, so we can get it done on the call itself. You don't need to visit the bank.
Alright, but suddenly? Why?
Ma'am, this is mandatory for every customer. If you don't do it, your account will be suspended within 24 hours.
Okay, then kindly let me know what should I do?
Yes, ma'am. Please put your phone on speaker. I'm telling you a code. Please dial that code on your dial app. Yeah. Please dial star 21. Alright, ma'am. Thank you. Your ID has been verified.
What you just saw is another scam targeting many, including our elders in India, the call forwarding scam. This one is particularly sneaky because it tricks people into giving away control of their incoming phone calls without even realizing it. Our mobile phones aren't just for calls anymore. They're how we receive important OTPs for banking, verify our identities, and stay secure online. And this is exactly what scammers are taking advantage of. So what is this scam really? How does it work? And how can you protect your loved ones, especially your parents, from this? Let's break it down. Picture your father receiving a call from someone claiming to be from his bank. The caller sounds professional and says they're doing a routine verification of accounts to protect customers from fraud. The caller then tells your father that they need to verify his phone number through an automated system. They ask him to dial star 21 hash followed by a 10-digit number or a similar code on his phone keypad. Because the caller seems legitimate and says it's for security, your father willingly follows these instructions. Now here's where the trap was laid. That code wasn't verification at all. It was actually a call forwarding code that redirects all incoming calls to the scammer's number. The 10-digit number after the hash, it was the scammer's number. Your father didn't realize that by dialing this code followed by the number, he just forwarded all incoming calls to the scammer. So why is this so dangerous? Because now, all calls to your father's number will be redirected to the scammer. Any OTP or verification calls from the banks will go directly to the scammer. The scammer can now access accounts that use phone verification. The scariest part? Your father might not even notice something's wrong at first. His phone will still work normally for outgoing calls, but any incoming calls or OTPs, those are going straight to the scammer. But why do people fall for this scam? It's because scammers are masters at psychological manipulation. They often use what experts call social engineering techniques to manipulate their victims. 1. Authority bias. By posing as bank officials or government representatives, they exploit our natural tendency to comply with authority figures. 2. Fear of loss. They create scenarios where not complying could lead to financial loss or service disruption, or some kind of illegality. 3. Time pressure. They rush victims into making decisions by creating artificial urgency. 4. Social proof. They might mention that many customers are updating their security this way. Our brains are wired to trust authority figures, especially when they claim to be protecting us from harm. When someone says they're from a bank and wants to protect our money, we're naturally inclined to cooperate. It's not just about receiving a call. Sometimes it might begin with a message that would ask you to do the same thing. And if you don't end up doing it, you might have multiple follow-up messages or even calls. It's not just about banks. You might be told that your internet connection would be stopped, your parcel would not be delivered, your water supply would be stopped, and so on. You get the drift. If you do not verify this yourself using the code, you could be in trouble. Now, you might be thinking, what even are these codes? How have they come about? How are they working? Let's understand this. They are called Unstructured Supplementary Service Data, or USSD codes. These codes are like your phone's secret handshake with telecom companies. They start with a star and end with a hash, triggering instant actions without the need for an app or the internet, and are used for functions like call forwarding, call blocking, and revealing some hidden device information that could lead to a breach of your privacy. These are legitimate features built into our phone systems, but they're rarely used by the average consumer. This lack of familiarity makes it easier for scammers to disguise their true purpose. The scammers know that most people aren't familiar with call forwarding codes, and that is how and why they exploit them. But see, you don't need to memorize these codes, but rather treat them like an ATM pin of yours. If any stranger or service provider asks you for a combination or to dial these numbers, just stay away. India has become a prime target for these scams because of our massive mobile internet user base and increasing digital adoption. While our telecom systems are secure, these scammers exploit human trust rather than technical vulnerabilities. So, how do you protect yourself and your family? 1. Never dial any codes given by someone over the phone, even if they claim to be from your bank. Legitimate banks, e-commerce companies, or such authorities will never ask you to dial forwarding codes. 2. Be extremely suspicious of any caller asking you to perform actions on your phone's keypad. Let's say if someone claims to be from your bank, hang up and call the bank's official number again. 3. Regularly check if call forwarding is enabled on your phone. On most phones, you can check this by going to your call settings. On Android, open your phone app and tap on the 3 dots or click on More Settings. Go to Call Account, choose your network provider, and then click on Call Forwarding. On some phones, these settings might be a little different. It might be under additional settings or supplementary settings, but you get the drift. Look for any numbers listed under Always Forward or Unconditional Call Forwarding. If you see any number you don't recognize, that means call forwarding is active and you need to turn it off. For iPhone, go to Settings, tap on Apps, scroll down to Phone, check call forwarding. If the toggle switch is green or on, turn it off, especially if it's a number you don't recognize. You can also dial *#67# to check if your calls are being forwarded. 4. Remember, call forwarding codes typically start with a star or a hash and contain multiple digits. If anyone is asking to dial these, it is a big red flag. When in doubt, check with your mobile carrier about any code before dialing it. Especially if a senior receives calls like these, here are some additional things that would help them not get scammed. Keep a no immediate action policy for any such calls. Maintain a list of family members to consult before any phone number based transaction. Install caller ID apps that can warn about suspicious numbers and callers. But when you receive such calls and you're not sure about them, note the following traits that these scam calls usually have. The caller insists that this is a mandatory security update. They mention recent fraud cases to create fear in your mind. They have a script-like response to your questions and may not answer your questions properly or keep giving similar responses, or might end up getting really angry if you end up asking questions for their verification too. They try to keep you on the phone while you're dialing this code. They want to keep you engaged so you don't realize what's going on. They might even play recorded customer service messages in the background. But what if someone has already fallen victim? Here's what to do immediately. Dial the *#21# number. It's used to check if your phone is forwarding calls unconditionally. Contact your mobile service provider immediately and explain to them what happened. Change passwords for any accounts that use phone number verification. Monitor all your accounts closely for any suspicious activity. Lastly, file a complaint with the National Cyber Crime Helpline by calling 1930 or visiting your local cybercrime police department and police station. Remember to document everything. They will ask you for evidence: the date and time of the suspicious call, any numbers that called you, any codes you were asked to dial, any unauthorized transactions. Scammers are constantly evolving their methods, and this call forward scam is just one of the many. They might combine it with other tactics too, like, for example, pretending to be tech support, claiming your SIM card needs updating, saying they're from government agencies. Stay vigilant, take time to verify, and remember, no legitimate organization will ever ask you to dial forwarding codes or share the control of your phone calls with them. If you found this information helpful, please share this with your loved ones, especially those who might be vulnerable to such scams. Together, we can help protect ourselves and our seniors from these digital threats. If you want to know about more scams, follow Saksham Senior on X and Instagram and subscribe to our channel on YouTube.